So this is the Bakflip MX4 by Back Industries. There are two things I love about this tonneau cover. The first is it sits in between the bed rails, so it's really low profile and you don't even notice it really once it's installed. The second thing is, if you need full access to your bed, it's a tri-fold. So you simply fold each section up, and once you're done, you have about 95% access to your bed. And I like the Bakflip MX4, but it's not all gravy with this one. See this cable right here? It's a latch system that flips each section of the tonneau cover up, and it works pretty well, but there's a problem with it, and that's security. There's just a seal preventing a coat hook from going in between the top of the tailgate and the tonneau cover itself to grab this cable, and once you grab it, you've got access to the bed. The other thing is build quality, and it's not terrible, but it's the details that matter. For example, here's this extruded aluminum, unfinished edges after the cut. Also, when I unpacked it, it was full of aluminum shavings. There's also a lot of plastic hardware. This clip is a good example. This is what you tie down the tonneau cover when you have it flipped up. And it's fine as it is, but who thinks this is going to last in the Texas sun? I wouldn't count on it. Here's another detail that baffles me. This is the rod that holds the tonneau cover up in its forwardmost position. When you're not doing that and it's stowed away, it's held by this little clip thing that is really just a wire tie hold down with only one side screwed into the main rail. It's surprising. My only other gripe about the MX4 is that it's not watertight, and that's pretty much commonplace for tonneau covers that fit between the rails. If you want something that's truly watertight, you've got to have something that goes over the rails, and once you do that, you kind of lose the sleekness of the MX4. So I can't complain too much about that. It's really just the detail of the build quality of the MX4 that bothers me. It's made in America, and when you see that, you come to expect this pride of ownership, quality, detail work. The MX4 doesn't have that. I think I paid $800 for this, and it's hard to argue that the value's there, but it does what it's supposed to do, and I think most people have found that to be true. That being said, I've decided to try something else, so hang out and let's see how it works. So this is what I'm going to install. It's a Diamondback HD cover. It's American made, super heavy duty, and pretty much all the rage. But first things first, I got to take off the MX4 and then start installing this one. The install process of the Diamondback is super simple, and there are plenty of videos available online if you want the details. It took me all of about 30 minutes to get it installed and functional. If you are at all proficient in the shop, you won't have any problems with it. But once I had the cover installed, I needed a way to comprehensively test it, so I decided to take it on an epic 3,000-mile road trip. My son and I bought an old travel trailer and drove to the Southern California coast to pick it up, and then camp our way back home to Texas. During the trip, I accessed the bed of the truck continually, time after time, after time, after time, after time, after time. This road trip was the perfect test of the Diamondback cover because I was able to put it through all of its paces. We spent time on the beach, time in the mountains, time broken down on the side of the road, and time in all sorts of weather. I put myself in the perfect position to evaluate that thing. So, what do I think? On paper, two things concern me about the Diamondback cover. The first being aesthetics. I really kind of prefer the MX4 sleek, barely tell it's there look, and the Diamondback cover does not have that, obviously. And I was a little concerned that this diamond plate look would give my truck a little bit more of an aggressive appearance than I really preferred. But honestly, being it's all black, it's pretty muted, it doesn't bother me. In fact, I kind of like it. The other thing that concerned me on paper was the center cross member. This is the kind of the elephant in the room with the Diamondback, and the reason being is that this is stationary. This blocks total access to your bed, and the only way to get it back is to remove the entire cover, which isn't that hard, but honestly, you're not going to want to do that very often. But this has some major advantages to it. And one of the things I didn't think about was access to both the cab side and the tailgate side of the bed. With the MX4, to get access to the cab side of the bed, you've got to do the 3 flip deal, and then finally you're here. With this, it's as simple as, and now you have access to the cab side.
And what this does is it opens up your packing options. And when we were on our road trip, like I would have my hitch stuff here for my trailer, and back here I could have my luggage, and they were both equally accessible. So my packing options were really kind of unlimited, which is awesome. The other thing is security. Of course, each side of the bed features this rolling lock mechanism. Essentially, once it's clasped, these bars engage the bedside. And once closed, locked, anything that's in the truck bed is just as secure, or probably more secure than anything that's in your cab. And of course, the Diamondback is a over-the-rail design, which creates this big seal here that keeps the water out. And at least in my experience through bad weather, as well as with the car wash, I have yet to see the bed get wet at all. That's something I didn't experience with the MX4. And then of course there's build quality. I think I talked about earlier the MX4 sort of disappointed me in that it was made in America and it didn't really have that build quality that you'd be proud to own. This does. It's made incredibly well. The fabrication on it is perfect. It's made like it's made in America, and that's pretty awesome. But back to this cross member. This is really the feature that makes it or breaks it for a lot of people out there, and it's a feature that I was concerned about. It ended up being a positive for me. It might or might not for you, but there's something else to think about, and that's thinking creatively about a tonneau cover. You know, most tonneau covers are designed to protect the things underneath it. The Diamondback does that, and does that extremely well, but it adds the feature of load bearing on the top. This was actually designed to carry ATVs on the top. I think it supports 1,600 pounds or something along those lines. I don't have an ATV, I'll never do that, but putting lumber up here, I can stack it. And anything else as far as materials handling and delivery and transportation and that kind of thing, more than, I mean, the thing's brawny, right? And what's great about that is not only do I have this load capacity up top, but I still have all my bedroom and I am loaded up. And so it gives you a lot of creative options as far as what you can carry, how, and things like that. So yeah, I wasn't sure how, going into this, how I was going to react to the Diamondback, its looks, its functionality. I Craigslist my MX4, and this is on the truck to stay. So yeah, if you're like me or have the same needs as me, give this thing a shot. I think you'll be happy with it.